Facebook's relaxed rules on political ads are drawing scrutiny as the 2020 presidential race heats up.
According to the news research site Popular Information, Facebook altered its policy in late September, essentially making it easier for campaigns to lie in ads. The Trump campaign has already run this ad, making false claims about former Vice President Joe Biden.
The social media company told Public Information the ad is okay to run because political ads are exempt from fact-checking. Sarah Fisher joins us now. She's a media reporter for Axios. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I like the Sarah Fisher better.
Sarah Fisher. Got a little flavor.
A little flavor. Exactly. Good to see you.
Good to see you
in
too.
New York. So after everything that's gone on with Facebook, why would they make it easier to spread propaganda?
Well, here's what Facebook would say. They said, we didn't change our policy. That's first and foremost. They said, we've never fact-checked politicians' claims or people who have newsworthiness value because we want to make sure that the newsworthiness gets out there. So they're kind of denying this report. But here's the thing. One can make a very educated argument that if you let ads run that have misinformation, then you're letting them spread propaganda, right? And so I think the reason Facebook is doing it is because they say, look, we don't want to be responsible for fact-checking politicians' speeches. We're not a news company. But at the same time, the pushback is getting pretty big, and they might have to change the way that they've been doing things.
How do they determine what's an ad and what isn't? Because the thing about Facebook is there are all kinds of posts. Some of them look like ads, some of them are just videos, but they are ads. It's blurry.
It's so blurry.
Yeah.
So especially because a lot of people will take a news post and they'll put money behind it and they'll promote it like an ad.
Right.
The way that Facebook considers something to be an ad is if there is money put behind it to promote it. Where it gets complicated is this. If you're a news organization and you put out a post and you want to put money behind it just so that more people sign up for your newsletter or whatever, for a long time Facebook considered that an ad. News companies went crazy. We're having a similar situation right now in politics, where if a politician wants to elevate a post or elevate a clip of them doing an interview, if they want to put money behind it, Facebook is essentially saying, that's okay, it's an ad, but it's okay, we're not going to fact check it.
So if Facebook is allowing false claims and political advertising to be available on their platform, the question has to do with the public trust, right? I mean, is it fair then to say that, I mean, I know I asked you this at the top, but is it fair to say that Facebook is responsible for spreading propaganda? I note that Last Week Tonight did a really interesting deep dive into Facebook last year, where they specifically spoke about the propaganda that is spread in other countries and how it has real life implications for people. You know, people's lives are at stake by some of the things that they see and they read on Facebook. They may not consider themselves a news organization, but do they consider themselves responsible for some of the really horrific things that have happened because of people seeing? And I'm not, you know, I understand that during the Rwandan crisis, a lot of malicious and propaganda was spread on radio. And you don't attack radio and say, well, you should never have radio. But I'm just trying to understand if there's some kind of responsibility that Facebook should undertake here.
Great analogy, first of all. Second of all, I do think that they think that there's responsibility to be taken. That's why they're going and hiring so many more moderators and trying to bolster their public policy teams. At the end of the day, the difference, though, between what happened with radio, what eventually happened with television, is we introduced federal agencies to regulate these mediums. Television ads cannot run propaganda because they are not allowed to, because they are governed by rules with the FCC, and the FCC oversees that. Same thing in a sense with radio and newspapers. We don't have that for digital. And so if you want to hold Facebook accountable, the only way to do it right now is to let the company and trust the company is going to do it. We haven't passed a single political advertising law. Honest Ads Act, never passed. We have not done anything to create federal oversight over these platforms. Now, there's been some movement. You know, we're looking into them for antitrust, et cetera. But as far as, you know, is anything going to get done about this? Like, probably not.
But I think it gets like super blurry because you have campaigns who are putting out ads, you have PACs that are putting out ads, and you have these other sort of malicious groups, whether it's a foreign country or whatever, that are also sort of putting out ads.
It's so blurry, it's so complicated. I'll say this, though. I sold political ads for 6 years before I was a reporter. In television, you have some murky stuff, too. There was a report that Bloomberg did that there was a dark money group pouring millions of dollars into TV ads. We never knew who they were. So I don't want to just say that this is only Facebook.
Right.
I think where the problem lies with Facebook is it's just easier to buy them. If you're going to have a dark money group come in and buy TV ads, technically they all get registered with the FCC. All the files have to be publicly displayed. On Facebook, they don't. Now, Facebook created an ad archive so we can see it, but nothing's forcing them to.
That's interesting.
That's why, I mean, you know, that audio recording of Mark Zuckerberg talking about Elizabeth Warren was sort of telling.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about breaking up Facebook, but it's also about the things that she says, which is what we're talking about here, that Facebook needs to be better regulated.
Yeah.
The way perhaps other mediums are.
It's interesting because we've also heard him publicly say, you know, maybe regulation isn't such a bad thing.
Right,
and then
right.
sort of.
But then.
Yeah.
Here's my take. Old companies typically get regulated, all right? It happened through Microsoft, and once they do get regulated or broken up, it invites and ushers in a new era of companies to take advantage of that situation, right?
Yeah.
The breakup of Microsoft allowed Google to thrive. This same wave is going to happen again, and so the breakup or potential regulation of a Facebook or a Google will usher in the rise of new companies that haven't yet been regulated. This is part of a natural cycle.
Right.
It always happens. It's just happening a lot right now.
So let me ask you about this article that you wrote talking about how TikTok,
Yeah.
which is like the social media platform, let's sort of skyrocket. We talk about Facebook, that's almost like old news. It's for old people, right? TikTok decided not to allow political ads at all.
Political ads can be very damaging to your environment. One, if you go to a platform like Facebook because you want to see pictures of bunnies or your family, and then you're seeing an ad about impeachment with, you know, very inflamed rhetoric, it might disrupt your experience. And so TikTok says we don't want to have anything to do with it. And you know they're not the only ones. The New York City Metro Station, they don't allow political ads, neither does Washington, D.C. A lot of people say, I don't want to deal with political and advocacy ads because they're too complicated and they accept our users. Now, are you leaving money on the table? Of course you're leaving money on the table. Facebook and Google are probably going to make close to $1 billion in political ads in the cycle. But at the end of the day, is it worth it to keep your consumers happy? TikTok thinks so.
Interesting.
I've been on TikTok, Anne-Marie.
Oh, look at you. You're up with what all the cool kids are doing.
Because I am a cool kid.
Sarah
the cool
Fisher.
kid.
Sarah Fisher is the coolest.
Sarah Fisher in the house.
Sarah Fisher. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Good to see you.